Good morning, friends of the internet. We are back again, and after a long trial off camera of trying to figure this game out and understanding this, there's a few things that I have learned about this game. So we're going to jump right into it. I know the first episode was kind of shock and awe. There was a lot of stuff going on, and it's just like we were overwhelmed, and there was a lot of stuff I didn't understand. So now, currently, I kind of understand more about what's going on in game. And we're going to take some quick looks at this really quick just so we can kind of understand what we've got going on and what we can expect out of playing this. So first things first. So if we go into here, into our menu system, right? So this is where we can kind of learn everything about the game that we need to know. So as you can see, everything's already planted, and it's kind of weird because we're not used to seeing everything being planted. But then you see all the little blue icons on the screen there. That's what these little icons are here. Now the cool thing about this with Farming Sim 17 is now that these fields, we don't own this field. So we've got two options here. When we come over to this thing, we have two options. Instead of just buying the field like we normally would, you actually come up here and you press this. And this guy says we got two options here. We can purchase the field, or we can start this. So this guy's wanting to pay us $13,117. He's going to provide the equipment, and we got 32 minutes to do that. So this is where we can make more money when it comes to purchasing more equipment and stuff. So you can see right now we got a balance of $23,500. So I think for the first couple episodes, I think it would be wise for us to jump into some of these. I did one off camera a second ago. A couple fields over here. I did that big field right there that you see. This one here, I went ahead and I fertilized it, and I made some money off of it, which was about $5,000, $6,000. So we can do the same thing here. This is the guy that paid me for the other field. We can do the same thing here. So what we can do is we can jump in here. We accept the mission. Look at this. He provides all the equipment. We don't have to do nothing, and we can make some money. So in Farming Sim 15, you always had to currently go out and purchase like equipment to be able to do some of the tasks. But this way you can see he supplies it all. All we've got to do is just jump in here, hook this bad boy up, and go to town. So it makes it relatively easy here. Bam. Okay. So then we'll go ahead. Do I need to lower it? No, I just need to turn it on. So you can see it spreads. Gives us all the fertilizer. We don't have to worry about any fertilizer. We can jump in this cab. We can just kind of like zip down here, however we want to do it. So you can see we can make an extra little bit of money from this. Now you can see in the top right hand corner, we got a time frame. We got 4 minutes and 10 seconds to get this field done. So we are on a time frame. We can't just dilly-dally about it. We can't just, leave this field and then not worry about it. Also, you can see a little pie graph on the right hand side there that's slowly filling up. That means that's showing our progress on the field. So all we got to do is just run down this field a couple times, and we're in good shape. So that as that time ticks along, we just got to zip along here and be as efficient as we can with our time and get paid for doing this field. Now the thing of it is I don't know what my coverage is here. We might be close on the time. I haven't done a lot of these. Like I said, I've only done one, so it's kind of, it's just kind of, trial and error of learning this system. I got to play with the trains a little bit with a buddy of mine. We played for a couple hours, so I got to learn a little bit there. So we'll go ahead and we'll shut that off, and then we'll zip over here, and we'll go like right down the middle, and hopefully we can just get this. Does this cover everything? Perfect. It looks like it does. So we'll just kind of stay in the middle of that. Like such. So this is an easy way to earn money, and which I didn't know. I was always like kind of confused with why all the fields were grown. I thought it was maybe just aesthetics until you purchased the field, and then I discovered that these were missions that you can actually get paid for. So great way to make money. Now, obviously, since we are just fertilizing these fields, we're not gonna be spending a lot of time harvesting the fields. I imagine there is some that need to be harvested. I imagine that there's some that needs to be plowed under, things of that nature. I'm assuming, but I haven't really experimented too much. But I figured this was a great way just to earn some quick cash because, you can see how long it took us. A couple passes up and down this, we'll make a little bit of cash. It looks like our pie chart's almost filled up. We still got 2 minutes to finish this off, and I think I got a bonus on the other field actually as well. So bam. So yeah, we got a $642 bonus plus the 2,000, so we made a little bit of extra cash. So bam, we made a little cash just for doing that for that guy really quick, and we don't have to worry about the equipment cost, leasing, buying, nothing. Now, that works out great because we've got another little system here that I wanted to show you. And that's let's look at harvesters really quick because I was kind of going over this and it's kind of still fresh in my brain. So we were actually using this harvester, for instance, okay? And we're saying, me and my friend, we were like discussing what if we was to purchase versus lease on this, since a harvester only needs to be needed for, just the harvest and half the time it's setting. Because here, before I go that way, let me jump into this menu, because we're going to see here in this menu, we're going to see this. And right now, our harvester, which is the top one right here, this Case HI 1660, it's costing us $2,000 a day in operating costs. So that little gear with the money sign on it is our operating costs. The key with the hand is our leasing costs. And then the basket is what we could probably sell it for, I'm assuming. And the 78 days is how much life it has, how many days it's actually been going. And that's going to go up. So I thought that was actually going to go down, but those numbers actually increase. And then our cost, our expense of running this equipment goes up the older it gets. So we've got to maintain that. So that's where we fall back into this other menu. So we'll go into the harvesters and we'll look at that. So when you select a harvester, you got two choices. And in the bottom, you can see lease and you can see buy. Okay, so what this means, I'll clarify it a little bit for you. It says the initial cost is $19,360, okay? And that is your upfront cost. That's your base cost of $8,800. Then your operating costs for every hour you're operating it. Every hour you've hired a driver or you are actually in the seat operating it. Not when it's parked, but just when it's operating. You pay $8,800. And then the per day cost, if you go over 12 or 24 hours, it also costs you another $1,760. So it can get very expensive, especially if you start fast forwarding your time and you have a driver that's in there and like a worker and you're fast forwarding 5 times or 120 times or whatever. You can rack up those hours pretty quick and start being charged $8,800 per hour. Then every 24 hours you're also getting an additional $1,760. So the best thing to do if you're going to lease a piece of equipment is to lease it after midnight and then get done with the lease before midnight. That way you don't have to pay the extra $1,760 per day. And then you're only paying $8,800 for the actual operating time that it's actually moving versus purchasing it for $176,000. So you can see the difference. And that's where you got to kind of weigh your options here a little bit on this stuff. So that's kind of what's going on here. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to spend some time and I'm going to try to do some of these tasks here where I'm like fertilizing and some simple tasks to earn some money. And that way we can kind of get a little bit of cash flow going up. So you can see that our case is actually pretty, where is that thing? Which is this bad boy. It's costing us quite a bit of money, quite a bit of money. So I think what I want to do is I want to finish off these fields. I'm probably just going to finish all this off camera just because I want to kind of show you a little bit more. Once we get a little more traction, we get going here and I get building up a little bit more in these episodes, we'll start getting our legs going. We'll start running. Right now, we're just kind of at a slow little trot. We're like slowly, sprinting a little bit. We're not really running yet. But once I get to the point where I have a little more control on money and stuff, we can go ahead and we can discover some more of this stuff. So let's go ahead and look at this. Now, this makes it very simple to come in here and quickly see what we have, okay? You can see the very top bars. It says farm silo, and it tells us exactly what we have in all the silos. So we can actually empty all these silos, and we can actually sell off all the stuff that we actually have. And then you can literally go down, like the first column, for instance, is wheat. We can go down and we can say that right now the price is $532 at the Maplefield Mill, which is a train station. You can actually see it has a little train on there. So the only way to deliver there is by train. So we actually have to take the wheat over from our farm silo to the train silo, load it in the train, and then take it to Maplefield to be able to sell it there. Or we could just sell it someplace else, but the price has gone down a little bit there. But you can basically follow across all of these little spots and figure out which way is the cheap, or which one is the most that you can purchase, or the most that you can sell to earn the most profit from everything. So I kind of like how this is all kind of set up here. The other thing that I really liked was when you're at this screen here, you can actually scroll down here to your vehicles, and you can actually jump to whatever vehicle you want to go into, as well as you can jump to the different places. So let's say we want to, I'm going to do this really quick because I'm curious about it. I wanted to kind of show you guys this anyways. Say we wanted to go to the sheep pen, sheep pasture. We can just go, boom, we're at the sheep pasture. So it makes it very easy to go ahead and jump from location to location. And as well, here is the silo that we actually have to come down from the farm and store the grain in there. So that our farm's over that way. So we'll just bring down that wheat. We'll put it in here. We'll load it in the train. And in the train, actually, if you look at the map, here, let me just do it this way instead. You can see the little gray lines that go around from the train station here at field 11. You can see the little grain, or the little gray tracks that go all the way around the map. And it's basically a giant figure 8. One train goes one side and one train goes the other side. So you got to make sure you get it in the right train. But then we've got sheep fields. Okay. So this was another thing that I wanted to kind of go over with you guys as well. So this is where our finished product's going to wind up. It comes out here on a pallet with 4 bundles of sheep wool, and we can take those in and sell them. Now, this area is for loading and unloading the sheep. So we can actually purchase and buy sheep in and out. With it, we can take a trailer and we can bring them over and we can load and unload them here. Now, the other thing is over here, we actually have, I don't know which one this is. There's a water trough, possibly. I believe that one is. Yeah. Because I would say that this is the feeding trough, because you can see how it's kind of lower on the other end. Okay, so what ends up happening, you got a feeding trough and you got a water trough. So let's say we go out and we take a loading wagon and we cut a bunch of grass, okay? And we take that grass and we dump it in here, okay? And the sheep eat it. Well, now, since this, in Farming 17, it kind of has it where you can just basically dump something on the ground right here and it'll pile up, where before you couldn't, like, spill stuff anywhere. Well, apparently now when the sheep eat, they actually will dump all the hay that they're eating and all their food out here on the ground, and it creates a mess, okay? And so if we go into here, we can see where it says sheep's own productivity, production rate, blah, 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 blah. But then you go down, it says cleanliness percentage. Okay, so there is what it was going to cost, or that's where it's going to be dirty. And this is the area that we have to clean up. So, so the food mixture is basically hay or grass. Okay, so once we put the hay or the grass in here, we cut it, we put it in here with a loading wagon. They eat and make a big mess all through here, and there'll be all this grass laying here like you cut grass, okay? What you have to do is you have to take your loading wagon and suck it all back up as much as you can, and it will make their cleanliness stay up. So I'm assuming that's the same way with the cows and with the sheep, or the pigs as well. So, okay, so that kind of explains that. So like I said, I've been kind of like trying to learn all this off camera. Let's see. I wanted to go back to this. We want to go down here. And let's go over here, and I'm going to kind of show you the other areas that's available. So we've got pigs. Okay, pigs. Let's visit the pig farm. Same thing. We have a loading and unloading section, and then we actually have a watering trough and a feeding trough. This is clearly, since this is the lower side, I'm assuming that this is the feed trough. So same thing. I don't know what we're going to have to do to clean that up, if we're going to have to use a tractor because a loading wagon may not work with their feed. And then over here is clearly their water, and this is where we'll water them. Okay. And then also, this has a place to make manure. So, we come over here. We have a slurry tank, which is right here. You can see it says slurry fill level 0. So this is the slurry tank. And I'm assuming that this is the fertilizer thing. Even though it doesn't say fertilizer, I'm assuming that that's where it's at. So I imagine at some point in here, we're going to have to spray hay into this field someplace. I don't know where. I haven't figured that one out yet. I don't know if it's going to be, well, it's possibly over this way. Oh, so maybe it's right here. We got to spray the hay into that field. So we'll put straw out there, and that'll make manure and the slurry. Then we'll have the water over there, the feed over there, and we'll have to figure out how to pick up the the feed, because if we actually go into here, I know it's kind of overwhelming. There's a lot. Pallets. Okay, so see here, we can buy pig food in a big bag for 1,400. Perfect balance of pellets to feed your pigs. So how we pick up the pig pellets from the ground, I don't know. So, but I'm going to have to discover that. But you have to buy seeds, where before you just had a pile of seeds that you always had an endless amount of seeds and you just drove up and purchased them. This one, you physically have to buy the seeds, go pick them up and bring them back to the farm. Same with the fertilizers. You don't just have a tank like you used to in the past in Farming Sim 15. So that's going to be another issue in itself. Okay, what else? It's still kind of overwhelming. I know you guys are probably going, man, I'm still kind of lost. But I just wanted to kind of show you that we're getting a kind of an understanding of things here. The fields, you can transfer to all the fields, obviously, which is nice for purchase. So that's going to make going around and doing stuff a little bit easier. And cows, the same thing. So when we go to the cow pen, it's the same thing. But here we actually have the silo bins for the silage. And then we have a couple storage areas here. I'm not quite sure if this is just for mixing the different feeds, because we do have to get the different feeds. We have, it looks like a water trough up there possibly, and I believe these are the feed troughs here. I imagine we have to shoot grass out to here. They have some cool little, like, here's a little milking machine and everything. So they kind of have some cool stuff out here that's kind of set up. Kind of got a little shed out here that's set up for the slurry tank, because here's the slurry tank. And I'm assuming that this is the manure tank for them. So it's kind of set up the same way. So we're going to have to kind of deal with that. Since we're right here, let's see what this field is. This looks like a harvest field, right? So yeah, so see, this guy wants us to harvest this field, so we can actually harvest this and make $20,000. So this may be something that I may consider doing here off camera to earn us a little bit of cash. But first, I was just, like I said, I wanted to show you everything. Now, the other thing that we have to do, let's run over to one more location to show you here before we have to end this video. I'm trying to go as fast as I can because I don't want to like this to stretch out really long. Okay, so this is where we come. This is over by Mary's Farm, I believe it is. Is that what it's called? In the bottom right-hand corner there. Yeah, Mary's Farm. Okay, so this is where we come and we buy our livestock, okay? So, as you can see, it appears that we need to have some kind of a tractor or a trailer to load the animals in. But if you actually look at our help controls on the left-hand side, when I walk into that area, it says that I can actually open it. So when I go ahead and I open it, it shows that I can buy pigs, sheep, and cows. Now, it says transfer fees is applied if you do not transport the animals with your own animal trailer. So I found out that it costs you $200 to actually purchase per animal. It costs you $200 for transport costs. So you can imagine $4,200 for the sheep, $5,200 for the cow, and $3,200 for the pig. Personally, right now, I'm not too sure about the pig feed, and I know it takes a lot to run the cows. So I think after things kind of get going here, I think I'm gonna deal with sheep, and I'm gonna kind of go over why I'm gonna go with sheep. Let's see, sheep. Let's look at the ball of yarn. See the ball of yarn there at the top? Come down here. The spinnery pays $5,500, almost $5,600 right now for sheep, for wool. So I think this may be a good way to go, because if you actually look at like the biogas there and you come over and you look at silage, it's 436. It doesn't seem quite like silage is going to be our moneymaker. So it seems like probably our sheep are going to be the best. But to do that, we're going to need multiple items here. We're going to need to purchase, first of all, where is it? Where are they? Mowers. Okay, we're going to have some kind of a mower, so that's going to cost us $11,000 for that mower. That one's $12,000. What size is this one? 3.1. That's 3.2. $20 a day. $20 a day. This one needs 70 horsepower. That one needs 90. So that might be a better option for now, is to purchase that one. And then we also need a, where is it? Where are they? Why am I not seeing it? Should be a loading wagon. I don't see loading wagons anywhere. Oh, here we go. Loading wagon. So 31,000 for a loading wagon. Ouch. So excuse me, I had a coughing moment there. So I think this Pottinger used to only be like 15,000 in Farming Sim 15. So that's a little expensive. That could be a problem there. But that's a way that we're going to have to feed cows or sheep. So we're going to have to work on getting the 31,000 plus the 11 for that one. And we should have enough horsepower with the tractors that we got. Let's jump into one of these tractors. Oh, I don't know the horsepower of this particular tractor, though. Let's go this way, and let's look at these tractors. These were the, what, 14-somethings? 14, where are they? These, so they're 102. Oh, they got 145 horsepower. Okay, so these will probably work. And I think we own 2 of those, right? Yeah, and we own, there's another tractor we own too, don't we? Where is that thing? Nope. That one. So we own this one too, and that one's 125. Okay, so we've got enough horsepower with these tractors that we're going to actually be able to purchase that. So I'm going to have to do some off camera, maybe sell some stuff. What do we have in here right now? We probably need to sell this thing too, because this ain't the largest. I got this I had this loaded up for a reason. I must have. Let's just go ahead and dump this right now into here. I'll have to just kind of get it all figured out later. Slide that bad boy up there. So they've changed a couple controls too that kind of make things a little bit weird. Why can't I empty? Oh, there we go. Unload. There we go. So they changed some of the controls in game that really kind of make it difficult. We noticed with like the sprayer, it was kind of like the pressure washer. Was kind of a weird little thing that they had to do. You kind of had to like to be able to move the sprayer so it looked realistic. You kind of had to like take your fingers off and do this like weird claw thing and everything to get it to be able, because you could only like go like this back and forth. You couldn't like move it like this unless you held down one button, the B button, and used your right analog all at the same time. So it's kind of difficult unless you had like maybe some paddles on like a SCUF controller or something like that. But with that being said, guys, I got to end this episode. It's run a little long. Like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of work off camera, see if we can get these fields cleaned up, get everything prepped, ready to go, kind of get us a couple, little bit of money going, maybe get those wagons and stuff bought. And I just kind of want to get us up to speed now that I kind of understand the game a little bit more. I wanted to explain it so you kind of understood what was going on here, so we'd all be on the same page of what was going on. You guys probably knew more than I did, but with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow us on Twitter. That way you know when we're posting new YouTube content and we're live streaming. If you have to check us out on Twitch or YouTube Gaming, come hang out, be part of the audience. If you're new to those channels, smash those follow buttons. So until next time, guys, we'll see all your faces later. Thanks so much, guys, for checking out my video. If you enjoyed that video, hit that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe for future videos.